Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com.
This week on Duel Review, X-Men Destiny followed by Black Lagoon.
We take a look at the Constantine movie, and we start off the week with Marvel's Schism event. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it. Welcome, everybody, to another Duel Review. Today is the 23rd of January, and we're going to be talking about X-Men Schism.
That's right, which came out last year in 2011. And basically, it follows the conflicts between Cyclops and Wolverine and the breaking of the X-Men. The comic itself features a new artist for every issue, and some people take offense to that, but honestly, after reading through it, did you have any problem with it? I don't think it really took you away.
I heard some people complaining about one particular artist and maybe the second book or something that Wolverine's head was really tiny and the shoulders are big. But if you're like me and you're whipping through the dialogue and you just kind of take photographs of the pictures and you don't study them and like, oh, it looks like the arm is foreshortened too much, whatever.
Right.
It doesn't. I don't think it phases you. And this is one of those cases that normally a book can take me out if it has multiple artists, but this one, it blends enough together that it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I think it worked out just fine. So what happens is on the island of Utopia, which is a synthesized, there's the book.
This is the trade.
A synthesized island specifically for the remaining mutants, and if you don't know, and if you don't know the remaining mutants, I'm sorry, if you don't know, a huge event has happened, and there's only about like 200 mutants left, and they're all living on this manufactured island. So Cyclops, the leader of the X-Men, after Professor X has died, is trying to lobby against Sentinels. So he's trying to dismantle all the Sentinels, get rid of them, because they're a huge threat to mutants, and
they do this kind of fun thing where it's kind of pseudo UN meeting, where they have a sit down with him. But all these different countries are saying, "Oh no, we don't have weapons of mass destruction." Is basically what they're making fun of. But we don't have Sentinels, and it turns out, of course, that
everyone
the fucker from Iran, or he was from Iran. You know what I mean? Like he looks just like the guy, and he acts just like the guy, but I'm not sure if he's technically the guy.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, they do that kind of fun thing.
Yeah.
Kind of jerk off.
So yeah, he's lobbying against getting rid of the Sentinels, but then a one mutant comes over who, I guess he is just a pawn, but he
stirs the pot.
Yeah, he stirs the pot, but he was put in place by a child. I think he's like 12 or something like that, right? Named Cade Kilgore, who is the son of, I don't know, someone high up, something Kilgore. He ends up
the leader of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, no, he wasn't the leader of the Hellfire Club.
Then leader, yeah, sure.
Was he the father?
Yeah, he got usurped.
Oh, I didn't know he was leader of the Hellfire Club. I know that the kid takes his place, I guess, as leader of the Hellfire Club, but I didn't know that his father was. So this 12-year-old kid essentially, really makes havoc so that he can, so while everyone's attention is diverted, he can do other things over here. And become the Black King in the Hellfire Club. All the while, the X-Men are fighting off the Sentinel threat. Now, the real issue comes with Cyclops and Wolverine's take. Cyclops, knowing that there's only 200 mutants left, wants to use every hand that he can, which means
a lot of them are kids.
Yeah, which means using children to fight this battle, which Wolverine thinks is just a horrible thought. So that kind of starts the conflict between them, so much so that in the later issues, or towards the end of the book, they actually start fighting, literally fighting with each other. Mm-hmm. And that breaks them apart, and you have people who want to stay with Cyclops, although Cyclops really kind of had to persuade them to stay with him, while a lot of people wanted to leave with Wolverine.
Yeah, some of the key people like Storm and the White Queen.
Right, Emma Frost.
Emma Frost. Yeah, So yeah, it's interesting that they kind of give it both to him. That Cyclops wins the physicality battle,
right.
kind of, and he also wins that the kids defend themselves, defend the island and stop a sentinel. Which the sentinels that they came up with are pretty cool. They're like suitcase sentinels. Like it has the energy source in a suitcase, and then it borrows metal from surroundings and makes that's cool. But anyway, and then but it turns out that Wolverine really has struck a chord with most of the X-Men.
Right.
A lot of half the kids, but also like Rogue and just like even ones that stay behind for Cyclops are also kind of like, we understand Logan and we want to be with him, but you need me more than he does, or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, he's really at a disadvantage, and we both have brought up that parallel between Cyclops and
Magneto when you first so. The parallels are uncanny, with Cyclops regarding Magneto. If you don't know, Magneto created a huge outer space station called Avalon, where he stored mutants, who wanted to flee, from the torture of, regular humans.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what's happened is the same thing with Utopia, the synthesized island. In addition, Cyclops wants every mutant to fight, whereas Professor X...
He's militarizing them.
Right,
really.
right. He is militarizing them, which is exactly what Magneto did, whereas Professor X wanted everyone to live in harmony. So where Cyclops is segregating mutants from humans because there are so few mutants left that he has to do that, Wolverine is taking Professor X's side and saying, we need to
train these kids.
Right.
They need to have some sort of childhood.
Right.
And we need to work on this problem other than just...
And we can't attack humans. I think that was... Humans being regular people.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's... Say what you want to about Wolverine, but he's been around for a long time.
Right.
And he's seen it all. So he's taken this... And it's also thanks to a kid. I forget the girl's name. But there's one girl that he takes particular shining to.
The Afro chick.
They like eat ice cream together or whatever, and then that's all he needs. He's like friends for life.
Yeah.
But he wants her to have some... I guess she takes it rather hard, and she's like, I guess this is what being an X-Men is killing or, destroying Sentinels. And
right.
Because she does actually inadvertently kill some people when they're at the event, at the the party.
The
museum thing. Because there's like a tribute to X-Men kind of thing being released. Anyway, she's kind of put in a bad situation, and Wolverine sees that as, this is not right. This kid is headed down.
Just a kid, and she needs to grow up as.
And she's not right. It's not what being an X-Men is killing. That's not right.
It's about trying to control your powers and using them for good.
So you can see both sides. Most people that I know would probably pick Wolverine's side.
I think we both did.
Yeah.
But I do understand.
I hate Cyclops. He's a pussy.
I do understand Cyclops' issues. I do think he is a good leader.
I'm not sure that I would not make the same. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to exterminate.
Yeah, it is. So it is a very difficult
all hands
position.
on board. I understand that, but at the same time, you're never gonna, stop the problem. I mean, I guess it's like democracy. Does democracy work? Or because he's kind of going down the road of, a police state, or a militia, kind of thing.
I think more militia.
It is very interesting.
But this event does lead to a whole bunch of questions, much like what happened with Civil War. What will happen? Who in the end will be right? Cyclops for militarizing, Wolverine for wanting to just live in peace, or train.
Who's how are the rest of the Marvel universe going to side? Like Steve Rogers is in the book, and I believe, like you mentioned, that there's going to be X-Men versus Avengers soon, which is going to be interesting because the X-Men are trying to save the mutants, where the Avengers are trying to maintain peace throughout. So I guess very quickly, this has fallen into the same thing where it's diverged into a billion books.
Right. Yeah.
This trade itself ends in the first issue of Genesis, I think it's just called. I think it might even be a single issue, I don't remember.
Right.
Where you basically just see most of the X-Men picking sides. And that's
you mean Regenesis is where it ends?
No, I think it's called Genesis, and then Regenesis is where it's going from then. I don't remember. Anyway, this trade ends... I guess it is Regenesis. And it's kind of a down note, but it does set up the other titles. The only problem is, again, there's a whole bunch of them. So, Which one to follow? I don't know. Wolverine's camp, I guess. I mean, there's like 4 of them for Wolverine, and there's like 3 for Cyclops or something silly like that. So it's kind of hard. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they would really focus on a couple different storylines. I understand they have a lot of artists and writers to employ and stuff, but anyway. So beyond that, it is a good event, and I think it will definitely set up some fun things.
What I'd hate to see is just it simply becoming, X-Men East Coast, X-Men West Coast, and that's just kind of how it resolved. I'd like to see the conflict continue, and the sides really be pushed.
But that is a little interesting, kind of that they're operating. So we'll see how they, what I mean. They're operating independently, so we'll see what happens to them in relation to each other, and yada yada.
Yeah, I guess.
And it will be interesting to see, the new Avengers and Weapon X, and I mean, because like Psylocke, she ends up staying with Cyclops just because she wants to fight right now. She doesn't want to.
Right.
She's not really into, but she's also still going to be part of Weapon X with Wolverine.
I guess so.
So, and that's interesting too, is that Cyclops is really the only X-Men leader in history that basically did a hit squad. He made a couple, a hit squad.
Yeah. Well,
and with the express purpose of like killing people, like that.
Right.
And so it is interesting to see what'll play out. I've never been more interested in Cyclops and Wolverine, their relationship. So
yeah, and the beginning of that book really sets up the relationship that they have. Where Cyclops is like, "You're the only person I trust, to be my bodyguard."
Wolverine's
or whatever.
lieutenant, which he disagrees, but he usually goes along because he's like, "Okay, well, benefit of the doubt, I'll just trust you."
And I've always felt that Wolverine was a follower, not a leader. So to see him divulge into a leadership role,
he's always digressed to that because that's what everybody always asks him to do, and I think it usually works out. So I think he has figured that out. But I think he is a leader when it comes to himself for sure. He's definitely self-motivated.
Okay.
Anyway, well, that's it. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, show support any way you can.
Right. If you're going to Emerald City Comic Con, let me know, please, because I'd like to, take a tally.
Please do. That's it. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
I had to turn mine around. I wasn't paying attention to. But whatever. I'm just gonna stop.
Bye. And cut.
Coming up on Duel Review, X-Men Destiny, the video game.
Where's my slate? I need the slate, man, and my gun. But more importantly, the slate. Sound test.
Can you move the chair over so I can see?
Sound test, sound test. Da, 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 da. Ambrosia to the gods.
To the gods?
For the gods?
The gods? It's of the gods.
It's not of the gods.
To the gods. Ambrosia to the gods. Yeah, I guess it works, but it is of the gods.
The gods ambrosia. Why are you going to correct me? It's 2 things with you. Either you're killing me off, or you're correcting me. That's what I do. In fact, sometimes you're killing me off while you're correcting me.
You're lucky you're not a comic book character in one of my books. And I'd kill you off and do awful things to you. It sounded bad.
January 23rd, 2012. Duel Review. This week on Duel Review, X-Men Destiny, followed by Black Lagoon.
We took a look at Constantine, the movie. Darn it.
You said Constantine.
Clementine. Clementine.